You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
Oh, you heterosexuals. I don't suppose you've ever had a homosexual experience. Welcome to Pleasers.
And Punishers.
Where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May, maybe the monster's queer, Schultz.
And today we're discussing, should all parrots be named Jerk-Off in Four Flies on Grey Velvet from 1971, written and directed by Dario Argento. And this is the third film in his animal trilogy following, we had The Bird with the Crystal Plumage and Cat o' Nine Tails. And this movie is starring Michael Brandon and Mimsy Farmer.
All right, so opening question. If the photographic technology and science from this movie were real, what would you hope is the last image imprinted on your retinas as you die?
I'm hoping to be really, really stupid. Because I would like to go out on a happy note, just laughing. I had one originally, but I just came up with, there is the worst statue in the world of Nathan Bedford Forrest, something. Like, he was the first Grand Wizard of the KKK. Really, like, fuck this dude. However, this statue is demented. And every time I see it, he's him riding a horse. The horse's face is all screwed up. He looks like
why is there a statue of the founding member of the KKK in Seattle?
Oh, it's not in Seattle. Oh my god.
Oh, it's not in Seattle. Okay, I was like, what the fuck?
It's like in Tennessee, or
okay.
I think it's still there.
That makes slightly more sense, I guess, but
yes.
It still shouldn't exist.
Exactly, it shouldn't. But it is so ugly, and every time I see it, I laugh, and then I get to laugh at white supremacists. So that'd be how I'd like to go out, laughing at white supremacists.
Well, I want to see boobs. I hope that boobs are the last image imprinted on my retina.
That was the first thing that popped into my head. 100%. I was like, no, but that would be nice,
right? Like,
yeah.
Imagine that just being the last thing you see before you die, and
you're like, I'm going home.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Into the pillows.
Well, speaking of pillows, let's get into some role play.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim. All your life.
Okay, here's where we tell you the story of the film. Spoilers, obviously, so if you haven't watched, go watch it. This movie rules. Let's get psyche, jazzy, and proggy as we meet our protagonist, Roberto, who is recording drums along with the rest of his band in the studio. When he leaves in the evening, he follows a man who's been following him all week. They end up in an empty orchestra hall where a tussle ensues, and Roberto accidentally stabs the man. A creep in a mask photographs him from the balcony.
Dun, dun, dun.
The next day at home, Roberto lounges with his adorable cat.
Oh, great cat. Like,
just
excellent.
Like, that cat looks so soft and snuggly.
11 out of
adorable.
10 cat. Like, ugh.
I don't think we ever hear the cat's name, though, which is kind of a bummer.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Find out the parrot's name, but, you know.
Yeah, that's true. So Roberto lounges with his cat while his wife Nina walks out to meet their neighbor Maria, and the mailman delivers an envelope containing the ID of the man Roberto killed, Carlo Morosi.
Carlo.
That evening, the couple host a party where their maid Amelia tells Nina she needs to talk to her about what she saw, and Roberto's bandmate Mirko tells the story of an execution. Roberto finds a photograph of himself and Morosi in his pile of records, which of course the maid notices, and so does the cat.
It's an excellent cat.
Exactly. Very observant. That cat could be a private investigator. Roberto dreams of the execution from Mirko's story. When he wakes, the power has been cut and he's nearly garroted by the killer. Who's going to help you? The police, perhaps? You can't ask anyone. You're all alone. He comes clean to Nina about both the man he killed as well as the blackmail. But of course all the proof is gone. And of course the maid overhears all of it. But wait, Carlo Morosi's wallet was left on Nina's dresser, so she knows it's real.
I wonder what's going to happen next.
In the standard giallo side quest, Roberto goes out to the country to see Godfrey, his parrot jerk-off, and the professor. This crack team is going to keep Roberto safe. We also get a bizarre flashback to a mental institution and the words of an abusive father in voiceover. Amelia the maid calls someone from a payphone and demands money to keep quiet about what she knows. She waits at the park while calliope music drones on incessantly, but when night falls, she gets locked in and is stalked. She then has her throat cut by the killer.
That scene of her just going through that very narrow passageway and getting...
Why does that passageway even exist?
All up in her hair. I was like, this is 2 nightmare scenarios for me just in one.
Yeah. I don't understand the layout and structure of this public park.
No.
That there are essentially 2 giant walls with a narrow space between them running around parts of the park. Very strange. What are you doing, Italy?
Yeah, it makes no sense and is, oh, God, no, don't like.
Meanwhile, Nina's cousin Dahlia shows up unexpectedly at the house, along with a bunch of the couple's friends who apparently they just like come party without saying like, hey, can we come over?
It's Italy. It's the 70s, you know. You just show up. We're having a party. You weren't having a party. We're having a party.
Nina gets a phone call informing them of Amelia's death. Roberto once again dreams of the execution and awakens to find a threatening note. Cut to the very alive Carlo Morosi, who is not Uncle Leo from Seinfeld, slurping on spaghetti. He meets with the killer because he wants more money. He criticizes the killer for offing the maid and then gets beaten with some kind of metal bottle or something and strangled with wire.
Like,
was
it a baseball bat? It wasn't a baseball bat.
No, it kind of looks like the metal wine bottle holder from the Lost Boys. That's what it reminded me of.
Yes. And you know what's always a good idea too? Like just going right at someone you know who's already killed people. Like really just going into and be like, you're wrong, I'm leaving. That always works out very, very well.
We also get more angry father voiceover and find out that the professor got knocked out in the night by someone who stole Roberto's cat. Roberto then finds a note from the killer in his car and enlists the services of private investigator Arosio, a wonderful fairy of a man.
Icon. Amazing.
I love this guy. He's in at least one other giallo that I've seen, and I can't remember which one at this point, but look him up. He's great.
The pistachio suit is so on point. Just every time it came on, I was like, all right, pistachio suit. I would wear you today.
I absolutely love the scene where they're at the diner and Roberto has to pay for his food. That's what I used as my quote for my Letterboxd review was what his order was.
Amazing.
So Nina leaves with the police due to stress and fear, and Roberto seduces Dahlia. Is it as bad to sleep with your wife's cousin as it would be to sleep with her sibling? Up for debate.
Question mark?
Yeah. Still a little weird.
It was Italy in the 70s. I don't know. what the rules were.
Orosio shows up at the house to ask for more investigative materials, and Roberto finds his dead cat in a cabinet. Thankfully, it doesn't look even remotely real.
No,
because
it
if
does
it did,
not.
I would have been very upset.
Not even close. So much so that I didn't think that was the same cat.
Orosio visits a psychiatric institute and finds out that a patient had been there for 3 years until their father died, when all their symptoms magically cleared up. It seems he's finally solved a case. It's too bad he gets immediately dispatched with a syringe full of what I assume is blue Kool-Aid to the nipple in the cleanest train station bathroom I've ever seen.
We don't have nice things like clean train station bathrooms here in the United States. Anyone who lives in another country who does have clean train station bathrooms, because I know they exist, like Japan, oh my God, the public restrooms, impeccable, gorgeous, beautiful. They all have bidets.
Wow.
And super clean. Even the ones on the side of a mountain. It is mind-blowing, and every time I go out of the country, I just get so mad when I come back for multiple reasons. This being one of them, toilets.
Yeah. Absolutely fair. Roberto learns of Orosio's death from the newspaper, then goes to meet Godfrey and the professor at a coffin convention.
Like
Side
you do.
Note, one of my favorite set pieces in the movie. It's so campy, and I fucking love it.
So funny. It, nailing it. Just in a fairly, movie has a lot of serious moments, but this is just a bit bonkers. Yeah, of course we would meet at a coffin convention. Why not? It was going on. No one would think to look for us here.
No.
Nothing weird, not morbid at all.
Later, while Roberto's at the recording studio, Dahlia is murdered in the attic. But wait, the police have new science-y stuff that they can use to retrieve the last image imprinted on her retina. It looks like 4 flies on gray velvet. Take a drink. And if you're Roberto, I guess, buy a gun?
We have title.
Roberto does some what I would call field engineering to get the lights to work in his dark house while he waits for the killer. Nina unexpectedly comes in looking like David Bowie mixed with Cynthia Nixon, and we discover she's the killer.
What? I think I said that she looked like if Charlize Theron had a Child of the Corn.
Mm-hmm. That is what you said.
So I think everyone has a very good idea of what she looks like in this moment.
Roberto smacks her around until she finally snaps and pulls a gun on him. Nina gives us an amazing villain speech, including some hissing and 2 gunshots to Roberto, about her father, who looked just like Roberto. And he forced her to live life as a boy, as well as abusing her in all ways. Sadly, she didn't have time to get revenge on her own father, so she had to find someone else who could pay in his place. Thankfully, Godfrey comes in and saves Roberto before Nina can finish the job. She attempts to escape in Roberto's car, but is decapitated in slow motion as she runs into the back of a garbage truck. So no head? That's for all my Vine users out there. Those of us who are still so obsessed with that platform that we watch Vine compilations on YouTube. Which, yeah, I definitely don't do that when I'm high all the time.
Never has happened to me. Don't ask.
All right, Caitlin, tell me about your relationship to this movie.
So this was a first watch for me. I know it's not streaming anywhere. And so when I finally looked it up, it's apparently, Paramount didn't release it for many, many years. They had the rights and just would not give them up. And for some reason, didn't want to release the movie either. Argento talks in, I got the 4K Shameless disc set.
Also, this is streaming right now on
Is
Plex
it
for
now?
free and Prime.
That is so exciting because it has not been for years because I've known about this movie.
Really? Because when I originally watched it, I watched it on like Tubi or something, and that was last year, a couple of years ago.
You know, maybe every time I checked was just that time. It was not on any streaming sites because,
Fair.
like, for 2 years I've been looking for it, and every time not available on anything. Rude. But I am I'm a friend of Dario Argento's.
You've heard of a friend of Dorothy. Now get ready for a friend of Dario.
Dario. Okay, so this is a first time watch for me. Really excited about it. Very much enjoyed it. Was not expecting the ending at all.
Okay, well, that answers my second question about
Well.
if you guessed the killer reveal before it happened.
I was trying. I knew it was a woman. Or at least someone who was coded female, because with the whisper voice, it sounded a little, it wasn't low enough. And it didn't sound masculine to me.
Okay.
So even at one point, I went back to see like who handed the letter, the Carlo Morosi letter to Roberto, and they don't show you. And I'm trying to like figure out who is in the room, where is everybody, because we have that like killer POV where we're just seeing the hands. I do have a note in my personal notes that if I didn't know that Michael Brandon was not the killer, well, I was pretty sure he wasn't the killer, I would have said he was the killer because he is very good looking to be in a giallo movie. And so a lot of the times, those guys are the killers.
Yeah, that is true.
I have solved some of these just being like, that guy is way too good looking to be in this movie. I bet he's the killer, you guys. I'm very fun to watch movies with. But other than that, I thought it was Dahlia. I absolutely thought it was Dahlia. I was convinced it was Dahlia.
Right before she dies, you hear some of that angry father voiceover, and it seems like she's hearing that.
Right.
And I think that's an intentional misdirect, but also it's possible she heard that stuff because she is Nina's cousin. And she may have heard Nina's father yelling that shit at her when she was a kid. So.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. For some reason, I thought it was a recording. So I thought she was literally hearing it.
Oh, no, I'm
Kinda
pretty
like,
sure that's just voiceover.
That would make sense as well. That would probably make a little more sense. Just right in the background, just, who is yelling at me? But no, you got me.
Yeah.
Got me, Argento.
Well, this was my fourth time watching it. The first time was December 2023, and I had no idea who the killer was going to be. I was just like so invested in the movie and so along for the ride. And I feel like there are clues, but it's not obvious. And I think that makes it a good mystery. And the reveal does feel very earned.
Yes.
Now, that said, the first time I watched it, there are scenes that are not in the English version of the movie. And they are in the Italian version of the movie. And you can watch the movie, at least on the disc that I have, in English. And when it switches to those sections that were cut out, it switches to Italian audio, and there's English subs for it. However, when I first watched it on Tubi, it was the English language version, but when it switched to those parts in Italian, there were no subs. So I was like, what the fuck is she saying? And that really butchers the reveal because you don't get so much of the information about, like, it completely cuts out the part about her father abusing her.
Right?
There is so much nuance and context there that is then missing from the reveal. And so thankfully, the disc I have solves that problem. I'm hoping the version that's streaming on Plex and Prime right now is the proper version and has subs for those moments, because otherwise you're going to be missing a little something.
Yeah,
And
that's a pretty large part of our overall everything about this movie.
yeah, so it's very important. And you can guess by the fact that I've now watched this 4 times. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite gialli. I think it is probably my favorite of the Animal trilogy for sure. And that's saying a lot because I love all 3 of the movies in the Animal trilogy. So my sub question here is, do you consider Nina to be a queer character?
This is such an interesting question. And I have a hard time with it. And I think you meant it to be that way. I have a feeling.
Hey, look, I'm not a bratty bottom. I'm a sassy sub.
I was
Maeve
like,
laughing from her room.
I was like, I don't think I can make a good whip noise with my mouth right now. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's good.
That's there we go.
Ooh.
So, Nina being forced to live as a gender she is not was something I was not picking up, did not expect at all. I, again, thought the movie might have been trying to throw us off with the father being so abusive, because typically what he was saying would be said towards a boy, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, whoa, but what if he was saying this towards, like, his daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he abusing his daughter by forcing her to live in a manner that conflicted with how she was feeling. I mean, and then again, also inflicting additional abuse on her as gendered abuse on her as well, from a gender that she was not a part of. However, because she's married to Roberto, I just keep wanting to go Robert.
And we don't see her have any kind of romantic or sexual encounter with anyone else.
Right. And how she and in her final speech when she is talking about how, like, this was not how she wanted to be living. Mm-hmm. It's almost like if I reversed it, if I had a queer character and that character was being forced to live as a straight person, would then at the end, if they were like, oh, yep, and I got married to this person who is of the opposite gender and la-di-da-di-da, would I consider that character to be straight? And my answer would be no.
Right.
So, if in that regard, no.
Okay.
Because I don't think I didn't get the sense that Nina identified as such. However, there's another way to look at this, and I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. Many ways to look at this. So many ways.
I think there is something inherently queer about Nina as a character. Obviously, the forced masculinization of her as a child is a fucking travesty. And we'll get more into that and my feelings around that sort of thing later. But she's very queer-coded in this movie. She's a woman with a short haircut.
Right.
She wears a lot of pantsuits. She's extremely independent and obviously at the end, when she's lost it,
Right.
she is behaving in sort of this, what we would typically see as a masculine kind of careless way. So to me, she is a queer character. Now, whether or not she's a good representation of a queer character, that's up for debate, and we'll get into that. But before we do, let's discuss the film's historical context in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
All right, Caitlin, our research guru, what was happening in movies at the time?
Italy was in such a time of upheaval.
Mm-hmm.
We are really still coming out of, what did they keep referring to it as? The regime. Still, Mussolini came to power in 1922 in Italy. And then World War II happened. Whenever you see someone's death as like 1945, you go, oh, yeah, right, that makes sense. So they're still kind of operating in the system that was created under fascism, because Mussolini came to power in 1922. When did movies really start to be made? Here we go. So this is how with giallo we get things like the dubbing. So anything that was recorded had to be approved by the government before it could be released. So that is why we get the dubbing. That is why it doesn't matter what language it's in. It can be in your native language. It's going to be dubbed.
Oh, yeah. For most gialli, they did not even film on-set sound. And you had American actors speaking English. You had Italian actors sometimes speaking English, sometimes speaking Italian.
People speaking German.
Yeah, it was a free-for-all. And there's something kind of cool about that, because you're operating on more of a base emotional level of responding to what you know is being said, even if you don't necessarily understand the exact words being said.
The base emotions, and you operate on that, and you're really being able to choose people based on who literally is giving the best performance.
Right. You don't have to
these are the
worry
people
about
I want.
the language they're speaking.
And so that's how their system was set up. This is why you'll also get dubbing well into 70s, 80s, because they had to basically change how they were making movies, which is a pretty big thing. So we have fascism, giallo, which means yellow. A lot of my information is coming from the documentary, All the Colors of Giallo. And it was the giallis were like these crime novellas with yellow covers. And they really primed audiences for these kind of mysteries, because these were also a lot grittier and darker than most media that the public could get a hold of during the regime.
Do you want to talk about more of the regime and what was going on there? Because I know you have a bunch of notes about that.
Yes, I do. So when they said the regime, we're very much talking about fascism in Italy, Mussolini, and then coming out of that, huge change in Italian culture. We have them kind of trying to find their identity. They're really moving from this more poor agrarian society to like quote unquote modern one, more in line with a lot of the rest of Western Europe. And we have things like divorce. You couldn't get divorced in Italy in the 60s. Of course, there was no birth control. It's a Catholic country. That would also be the divorce part. Abortion, all of those things suddenly become attainable. I think each of those was voted in at some point during the 70s in Italy. And we start to have a lot of conflict. Unions start coming into power, which is great. But that starts conflicting, obviously, with the police. A policeman gets killed in like 1968, and just terrorism erupts. And a big center of it is in Turin.
Okay.
And this is all like 1968, 1969, 1970, when Dario Argento is making movies and really coming up. Now, the interesting thing, though, is in one of the special features on the 4K release that I have, he's like, my films aren't ideological. There's no ideology here. And I was like, oh, sir. And goes on to talk about how it's very personal and about his demons and fears and how the actor Michael Brandon kind of looks like him. And I'm like, okay. And Mimsy Farmer looks a lot like his wife at the time and was styled a lot like his wife at the time. And
yeah, that part I do agree with. I don't think Michael Brandon looks that much like Argento.
No. No. But, go for it. I guess he did. Michael Brandon basically studied Argento for this role. So he would do how he walked, his movements, kind of his style of speaking and things. So very, very personal film for Argento. Though, of course, personal is political. This is a very political movie. Mm-hmm. Anything where you are putting your hands into cultures that you may not, or subcultures that you are not a part of, I think automatically becomes political in some form. And art is going to be influenced by everything that's going on around you. It doesn't matter. You're going to look at what is going on and say, I'm putting this into my art and I'm putting this into myself. And I don't know if any of that made sense, but I said it.
No, it absolutely did. So this is also Argento's first stint directing. The Animal Trilogy are his first 3 movies that he directed. He also wrote all of them. And previous to that, he was working as a screenwriter. So he worked on a bunch of spaghetti westerns that were made up till that point. He was in this group with a lot of Italian filmmakers who were doing...
Bertolucci.
Yeah. And Sergio Leone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he was coming up with these guys who were doing a lot of really cool stuff. And I'm glad that he pivoted from just screenwriting to also directing, because his legacy is immeasurable. There is no one quite like Argento. He did not invent giallo. He did take giallo to a new place and added so much to it that Mario Bava, who is often credited with starting the giallo film genre, wasn't really doing. Argento brought in this unique sense of architecture and framing and so much great music. And Bava's films have great scores as well, but here we've got 3 movies that were all scored by Ennio Morricone, who at the time thought he was doing stuff that was like lowbrow and people weren't going to respect him. And then he went on to be one of the most prolific film composers of all time, who did so much incredible work. I am very thankful that I have the scores for the whole Animal Trilogy and a bunch of other Morricone's scores. Unfortunately, the 2 of them, Argento and Morricone, got in a fight while this movie was being finished.
So sounds like Argento might have been fighting with a few people from what I have gleaned.
Yeah. If your marriage is falling apart, that's going to affect your work.
And,
so it's understandable.
And also definitely make a movie about it.
Oh, of course.
Your wife won't be mad at all.
I mean, Ari Aster made Midsummer after a rough breakup.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Boy, did he.
I would not want to be that ex.
Right? Oh, well, or you're also like, maybe I made the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah. You have a couple notes here. Apparently, Bird with the Crystal Plumage, according to Argento, was the first Italian movie to open at #1 in the U.S.
Yes, which was huge. And huge for giallo movies as well. One of the things that coming out of World War II and then going on into the 60s, which is a lot of experimentation in films, and Pasolini coming in and just challenging the censors left and right, which really opened up for everyone else the ability to violence, nudity, get all our sex and our death, and putting that into the world in the 70s, which not just Italy, it's everywhere, was in a lot of upheaval. And then creating this just very personal film that is a bit about a relationship that is no longer working in, the worst possible way. Mm-hmm. One of the worst possible ways, if, your significant other got with you just because they want to murder you. We're not starting out on a very solid foundation, is what I'm saying there.
So to close out the section, this has a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It seems to be regarded interestingly in the world of giallo fans. Some people really love this one. Some people think it's just okay. Obviously, as I've already said, I adore it. I think it really goes to a deep emotional place that the previous two films in the Animal trilogy did not reach. And that's why it's my favorite of the three and why it's one of my favorite gialli overall. All right, let's make that money. Got 100 lire to spare? And now we're going to dig into the meat, the goo, and the viscera in a section we call Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough. Enough is a myth.
Okay, so this movie touches on a lot of issues that trans people face, with the forced masculinization of Nina as a child to her, I'm going to say, psychotic break that she has when she's younger, but then obviously again as an adult. It's very harrowing stuff. Trans people are really at risk right now, both in the United States as well as all over the world. Probably more so than usual because we're so visible right now, and there is so much going on with people trying to either legislate us out of existence or throw us into concentration camps. In today's world, does this film fill the role of a cautionary tale for allowing people to express their gender in the way that feels authentic to them?
When I watched this and that reveal happened, it was very similar for me to how I felt, spoiler alerts, to the end of Sleepaway Camp. Where it's like, whoa, oh. Like, I was, one, not expecting that. Two, how do I feel about it?
Sleepaway Camp is an interesting kind of twist on this same premise, where you essentially have a family member forcing you to live as a different gender and not giving you the opportunity to choose how you want to express your gender.
my reaction to Sleepaway Camp at first was like, again, what did I just watch? If you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, it is a spectacular piece of trash that has some very interesting things going on with it that I don't think the director really intended, but
no, he didn't.
Yeah,
I covered that movie before. It's a movie I
Yes.
really like. If you want more material about Sleepaway Camp, check out BJ and Harmony Coangelo's book, which I can't remember the name of right now, but they're awesome and they are obsessed with this movie.
And my reaction was, wait, was that bad? Or is that because, yeah, if you do try to force someone to live as a gender that and be under gender constraints that they themselves don't adhere to, can't.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. It feels like your body is inside just screaming. You're so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It is so uncomfortable to live in a state. I mean, anytime anyone is trying to force you to do something that you do not want to do.
Oh, yeah. Not being able to express yourself authentically is one of the most damaging things that our society essentially encourages people to do. And I'm not saying every trans person who is forced to live as a gender they don't feel comfortable with is going to have a psychotic break and
or become
kill
a
someone.
murderer.
Right. We're not going to kill people who look like our abusive parents.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like this is kind of a cautionary tale in a way, though, to just be like, let people be who they are. And again, not intentional. I don't think that was the intentional message of this film. And we're allowed to make whatever readings we want of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my readings. So
I absolutely, I agree. It's one of those things that when you see it so clearly on screen, I mean, Nina lays it out.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, this made me crazy. I felt crazy. I felt like I was supposed to be doing one thing and my father's over here like yelling and beating me and saying, you're not that. There's just something like extra upsetting about like the way her father abused her because of that we are living in a society that has never valued trans people, gender fluid people, non-binary people the way that they should.
Yeah. Another similar question. Argento almost always has queer characters, and they're rarely villains. In fact, Orosio in this is portrayed only in a positive light. He's a bit of a failure of a private investigator, but he's a kind person. He even gets to flirt with another old queen while he's investigating. It's sweet. And I think part of that is that Argento always had queer friends in real life. And Daria Nicolodi, who would eventually become his writing partner and wife. I can't remember if they got married or if they were just together for a while. But she has said that they always had queer friends. So there's never any ill intent in any of his portrayal of queer characters. And I love that. So does this feel like a good for her queer revenge movie that Nina gets to act out this revenge plot? Or is it another quote unquote damaging, crazy queer storyline?
I do like that we have two different portrayals. We have Orosio, who is very confident in who he is. He's feeling good about himself. He's out there living his life. He's floating through life, light as an air. Light as an air? Caitlin. Like you're filled with helium. I think it would feel better if she didn't pick out a victim. If this was her dad, fuck yes. Fuck yes. But just being like, you remind me so much of him. And there is a moment, too, where Michael pushes back on her. Kind of something like they're about to have a conflict, or they have like a slight conflict. And the way she looks at him after you go back and watch it, it's just like, that reminds her of her father. It's like any kind of like conflict. The hospital that she was at did not do a good job. No. They did not care for her.
No, they
did not give her the tools she needed to be able to go out and be a successful person in the world after being through something so horrifically traumatizing.
I feel like this really is kind of in the middle of those two things. It's not quite good for her. It's not quite a like throwaway crazy queer storyline. Right. This person's crazy because they're queer. This person is crazy because they were always kind of weird, and then their father forced them to live as a boy when they weren't a boy. So yeah, I think it kind of toes that line between both extremes, and that's part of why I like it, because it's a little more ambiguous. It's not just cut and dry. And sometimes that can be more enjoyable. I certainly don't think it's trying to condemn queer people in any way.
No,
and if someone gets that reading from it, it's like when people get that reading from Sleepaway Camp. And I'm like, what movie did you watch?
Because I watched Revenge.
Because I watched Robert Hiltzick's masterpiece, Sleepaway Camp.
Okay. Vengeance is ours.
All right, let's lighten it up a little now with a fun question. The mailman is an amazing side character. He's played by Gildo Di Marco, the same actor who plays So Long in Bird with the Crystal Plumage. Who would win in a fight between you and your mail carrier?
Oh, I feel like now my mail carrier. Definitely. They're real strong. They walk around a lot. They carry things that are heavy. I don't. And not for any reason of me trying or anything. Just because of medication, I lost a lot of weight. So I lost a lot of my muscle mass. So I'm just kind of all sharp edges. So if I am going to beat someone up, I think the move is if I crawled on their back and then you kind of get on top of them and then I just kind of smash elbows into their face and hope I cut them.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm all sharp edges, just cutting people left and right.
Just imagining you as like a cartoon rhombus or something, like, walking up and like stabbing someone with your sharp edge.
Yep, just full of, I'm just all knives, just fish hooks and knives over here. But if that's not the case, I mean, they're in much better physical shape than I am. They can probably run. I'm not running anywhere. Yeah. I don't care to.
Yeah, I think my mail carrier could probably kick my ass. She's like this nice older woman who seems pretty chill, but you know she can pack a punch. You know she's got a nice wallop. And I would also feel bad fighting her. So I would probably just let her win anyway.
Like, I don't want to fight you.
Yeah, I don't want to fight you. You bring me packages. I love you.
I love packages. I get home and I'm like, for me? Oh, thank you. Past me just really knew this was going to make my day.
Well, you know what comes in packages sometimes? Games. So let's go to our next section. Let's play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
All right. How would you categorize this movie, Caitlin? Is it a pleaser, a punisher? We know it's kind of kinky and queer.
I definitely think, even though I said at the beginning that might not consider Nina a queer character, the situation she is in, everything else like is so queer. Is so queer. And like you said, going back and those visual cues of like the short hair, which for me didn't even think about, the pants. In Italy in the 70s, this would be a big deal. Fuck, it is still a big deal to be female presenting and like have short hair. I basically had not like a full Sinead, but a little, very little hair for a very long time. And people would still feel the need to comment on it. Or when I was growing up, like I always, God, I wanted to have short hair. I want to have short hair. And just comments always from men being like, oh, I find, women with short hair ugly. Or I find it ugly on women. Like, who the fuck asked you? I want to do this for me, and you're just turning it around being like, oh, well, I think it's ugly. Well, then shut the fuck up. I didn't do it for you. And growing up, we had a woman, or actually, one of the places I lived, we had a woman who had short hair who was our neighbor, and I wanted that. I wanted the short hair. I wanted the pants. And just the way I could connect with that character and just how the experience is so queer. And we have Arosio over here just failing at being a detective, but winning at fashion. It's a fun, I think it's queer. I think it's I would call it a pleaser. I would call it a pleaser. There's a lot of very funny moments in this as well.
It's got a lot of great ensemble moments too. And I think when you have
the God, the Professor, and Jerkoff are all in a shack together. Roberta walks into a shack.
I think when you have a movie with strong ensemble moments and a good central mystery, it makes it so the people you're watching it with get invested and they want to see what's going to happen. And so for that reason, I agree. I think it's a pleaser. And I obviously think it is a very queer movie.
Yes. And it's so interesting that you say, that bringing you in with the mystery, because yes, it is incredibly engaging, keeps you on your toes. Red herrings are getting picked off left and right. And also Argento is doing some really, really interesting things with the camera here that I don't always feel like he does. And that goes the way he can kind of bring us right into the moment when you're filming the scenes that are with the musical instruments. Like you feel like you're on that musical instrument. And then there's the times where you're in the killer's perspective. And you're once again kind of brought into the movie, but in a more uncomfortable way. And then the perspective, the shots where he does not want us to be a part of the movie. He wants us to be kind of overlooking I kept calling them God shots, kind of overhead, where we're not in the killer's POV. We're not necessarily in the movie. And I think we're outside looking in all of a sudden. And I think I felt that push and pull with the camera work and direction. It would be like, you're on the ground and then you're above someone. And just having that piece also be incredibly engaging and keeping the movie running at a very clippy pace. I loved those music scenes. I thought that the direction of those was kinetic. Like, I've seen Suspiria many, many times, but I can't think of even the dance scenes being that full of energy where you feel like it'd be like feeling like the dancer's feet. Like I felt like I was that guitar fret.
So what I will tell you is that Franco Fraticelli edited most, if not all, of Argento's films except this one.
That is very interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
This one was edited by, Francois Bonneau, who she also edited a lot of other stuff.
Oh, good for her.
Including Z, Across the Universe.
What?
Julie Taymor's The Tempest. Okay, so it makes sense. She worked with Julie Taymor a lot. Titus, Frida, Across the Universe, The Tempest.
I feel like if you're Julie Taymor and you find someone who edits your movies the way that you want and works really well, you are sticking with that person forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think
awesome.
having a different editor on this movie is part of what does that.
I don't know if that energy has to do with maybe a female eye on it versus not. I know Argento was talking about the way he approached a lot of his direction was his mother was a photographer of the divas, of like the Italian divas, of like the 50s and 60s, all of them. Which I think you can see in like the framework. And he was like, so I really knew how to like capture the beauty of a woman's body. And I was like, Dario.
I love that,
you scamp. And I don't know. So I found that really interesting too, coming with more of a learning his eye, his lens from his mother.
Yeah, I like that a lot, and that's something I did not know, so thank you for bringing that in. Any other final thoughts on the movie?
Michael Brandon's real hot. There are lookalikes for Cher, Charlize Theron in the 90s, Judith Light, and Uncle Leo. Mm-hmm. So it's just like a cavalcade of stars. Of just off-brand stars.
Yeah.
And,
all right, quick bonus question.
Yes.
What's your favorite kill in the movie?
That is a good question. Yeah, it's, this is kind of, it might be lame, but people exploding is always really, it does something for me.
Yeah.
Decapitation, people losing limbs or exploding. I'm like, that Nina just exploding and then the movie is over. Mm-hmm. What a fun way to end the movie.
Yeah.
What a delight. I was like, oh shit, okay. Guess we're done.
I think my favorite is Dahlia. It's such a tense set
That is
piece.
a great scene.
And the way the camera follows the knife as it plunges into her, just everything about it is so cool. And yeah,
personal.
The image imprinted on the retina thing is booey, but it's so cool within the world of the movie. So I really I enjoy that whole thing. And I've really enjoyed this discussion, but I think it's time to wrap up with what awaits us next time.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
And that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show. It makes us all tingly inside. Oh. You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers, and on Blue Sky at PleasersPunishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can find my music on Bandcamp and streaming services as Everson Poe. And you can hear me on Tender Subject and Slayerfest 98. Caitlin, where can they find you?
I can be found at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, and the Cat of the North on Letterboxd.
Okay, and next week's episode will be on the Wachowski sisters' seminal lesbian text, 1996's Bound.
I think I just came.
Yeah.
Just now. Just saying it. That's it.
Understandable.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, listeners, if you have never seen this movie, buckle up. It's a neo-noir starring Gina Gershon and Jennifer Tilly, who have one of the hottest sapphic relationships I've ever seen in a movie. And it's the Wachowski sisters, so it fucking rules. But until then, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and congratulations, you guessed right.
I know it's inevitable. You crawl inside my head, scratching at the walls of my skull.